Hi guys and welcome back to Wolfie TV, and of course we're doing a match preview today for the big game on Saturday. Wolves have got a massive chance, haven't we, this Saturday to just push almost clear of any talk of relegation and just enjoy the rest of our season. And we've got a real chance of doing it against the Leicester City team, who haven't been doing too well. But having said that, Leicester themselves will be desperate to get some points on the board, as they themselves obviously want to get out of the relegation zone and start pushing on for their season as well. Guys, in this match preview, we're going to go obviously over the latest Wolves news, talk a little bit about our opponents, Leicester, as well as talking about the expected match lineup. So let's waste no more time and let's get on to talking about the Wolves news to start with. And we will start off with obviously Ruben Neves, and we're going to speak a little bit more about him in more detail later on. But as we know, he is now back after serving his 2-game suspension. Nelson Semedo, we've also got to speak about him because he just has to now last one more game without getting a yellow card before, obviously, after that, he won't then be faced with a potential 2-game ban. So hopefully he can keep that from happening because he's been a real utility for us. And then the final thing we wanted to speak about was just around Diego Costa. Obviously, you know, he's looking a lot more rejuvenated, looking a much better player now. I think he's finally got his match fitness. Let's not forget when we did sign him, he obviously hadn't played at the top level for some time and hadn't played football in general for a little bit of time as well. He's looking a lot more sharper, and that's leading some people to call for us to activate that contract extension. One of the people that did say that was Mario Lemina. He was basically talking about how he really does deserve that contract extension, and also just how much and how valuable he is in the dressing room and how much he adds. So, guys, let me know in the comments, do you think we should extend the contract of Diego Costa? To be honest, a couple of weeks ago, I would have been absolutely against it, or even more so about a month ago. But I'm starting to warm to the idea now. I think he adds quite a lot to the team. And although I don't expect him to be the main striker next season, I do think he can play a valuable part in some games. So let's move on and speak about our opponents, Leicester City. And I think the main thing we've got to speak about is this man, Dean Smith. Now, obviously, Leicester have decided to appoint Dean Smith, and to be honest, it just gives me more confidence that we can get something out of this game, in all honesty, because it's just the most bizarre manager selection. Maybe that's because they did obviously get rejected by Jesse Marshall. It's led to believe that they either got rejected or terms just couldn't be agreed on that. But you know, to get rid of Brendan Rodgers, I think was probably the right decision in some ways. I think, you know, they probably should have done it 6 months before. I think there's been something lingering there between obviously the Leicester fans and Rodgers, and just the way that he's really kind of slipped off. But then to bring in this man, the guy that went and got Norwich relegated last season, you look at how Aston Villa, our rivals, are now playing, obviously since he left and Gerrard left, and now they've got a proper manager with Emery. I think it really does show that, to be honest, he's just not that good a manager, is he? So just the fact that he is going to be in the dugout really does actually give me confidence, to be honest, more than anything, because I just think, you know, him versus Lopetegui should be able to outsmart this man and his tactics. But we will see. Let's not fully write them off, because they did play Manchester City last week. So maybe this would be their first game and real opportunity at the King Power to have that kind of new manager bounce. Guys, just a quick one for me before I get back to the video. If you are enjoying the video, as always, do me a favour right now, hit that like button. And if you haven't done so already, please do subscribe to the channel. And let's get back to the match preview. So let's move on and speak about our potential team lineup, guys. And as always, make the screen a little bit bigger. Of course, we've known that this has been the kind of lineup we've been going for over the last couple of weeks. Of course, against Brentford, we did see Daniel Podence changed out for Sarabia. But once again, the main thing about this is that 4-4-2 formation that we've been seeing has really worked, no matter who it's been, whether it was Podence or Sarabia. You know, having Cunha and Diego Costa working alongside each other with that other, you know, obviously having either Podence, Sarabia and Mateus Nunes also on the wing, really has worked well with Lemina and João Gomez just doing both what they do best. In fact, Lemina described João Gomez as a younger version of him earlier on in the week, and I think that kind of rings true. he's got that aggression, he's got that tackling ability, and these two just really do seem to win the midfield battle, don't they? No matter who they're against, and that's really just because they've both got that mentality of just getting stuck in, which is really pleasing to see. Of course, the problem that we're going to have though is this man returns, and I think it's a nice problem to have. But what do we do about him? What do we do? Because should we drop Neves? Well, say drop. I mean, should we bring him back in? It's a really hard question to answer, guys, to be honest, in my point of view. I don't know what to do because he could really disrupt obviously, since he's not played, we've had two back-to-back wins. And at this point, you do wonder, do the board know whether Neves is going to sign a new contract? Of course, if he doesn't sign a new contract soon, I'm sure we'll sell him next summer. So especially as we're now edging closer to safety, some would maybe argue, do we actually go and plan for life without Ruben Neves? It would give Lemina and João Gomez the rest of the season to build a really strong partnership ready to take on the challenge of next season. And obviously we know we're definitely going to have those two. Now, having said that, Neves is our best player. But does it disrupt that? It's a really hard question to answer. So I'd really be interested to know what your guys' thoughts are in the comments. But obviously, if he does stay, one way that we might be lining up, of course, would be looking a bit like this. So we'd obviously go back to a midfield three, which would take a possible outlet out of the attack. I think he would still choose Matheus Nunes. And I think he would also choose Cunha to play with Diego Costa. But we've seen the problems that this can create. You know, we've seen this kind of four midfield choice before, where if you factor Matheus Nunes as a centre midfielder, it really doesn't give us much. And, you know, we finally started to put the ball in the back of the net. We started to look like we're creating more chances, giving Diego Costa that much needed support, with obviously the likes of Cunha playing more directly off him. I honestly don't know what the right situation is with this because, you know, it just feels crazy to want to potentially drop Neves. Do you maybe drop the inexperienced João Gomez and bring back Lemina with Neves alongside him so you can stick with that 4-4-2? That's another possibility. But then at the same time, I think Gomez has been absolutely brilliant. And as I say, I feel the board should know now whether we're going to have Neves in a new contract, whether he's going to sign it, or whether they at least think we can get a bit more of a future out of him. It's a hard question. Do we plan for the future, or do we play the best players that we've got now? Guys, let me know your thoughts, because I'm really battling myself, as you can tell, of what the best solution is, really. But so let's obviously go into the part of the video now, guys, where we do speak about my match prediction for this one, my score prediction. I mean, when you look at Leicester versus Wolves, firstly, our away form against Leicester since coming into the Premier League hasn't been very good at all. In fact, Leicester have managed 3 wins and 1 draw in that time. And in fact, ever since even coming to the Premier League, we've only actually managed to win 2 of 9. Of course, one of those was a big 4-3 win back in 2019. I'm sure that was sticking a lot of people's heads. One of the probably better games, really, since that we've come up in terms of excitement. And I think both teams are probably longing for that kind of game and that kind of excitement, because we've not really had those high-scoring games where both teams have been scoring in a long time for both teams. As I say, though, this feels a little bit different. So, you know, I do think maybe we are going to go and grab our first win against Leicester since coming up away from home. And I am going to give it a score prediction of 2-1. I think it's going to be a narrow victory, but I do fancy us to get the job done. As always, let me know your score predictions in the comments. And also, please do hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you on the match reaction after the game, guys. Take care. If you're going up there, is it up East Midlands? If you're going to the East anyway, enjoy the game at the weekend and have a good one. Take care, guys. Goodbye.